start. For today, let's make sure we've got 2 blocks and a blanket. The blocks you'll probably want to have to the top of your space, the blanket somewhere off to the side. And then you're going to go ahead and lie down on your backs with your feet towards your blocks. Does that make sense? There we go. And then when you find yourself on your back, just take a moment to figure out how you would like to be situated. Do you want your legs straight and long? Do you want your knees bent and the feet on the floor? Do you want the soles of the feet touching and the knees open? Doesn't so much matter how you lay down on the floor, but just take a moment to lay down on the floor. And then you might find that you want to put your hands on your abdomen or just let them rest off to the side. And you'll just take a few breaths here to just sort of fall into this shape. Today, we're going to focus very much on just getting into the body and seeing how that allows us to just be a little bit more at ease and present and alert to what is going on moment by moment, breath by breath. So we'll take about 5 more breath cycles here. And I want you to consciously just start to expand the inhalation into the abdomen. And then exhale, allow the abdomen to completely descend and fall towards the floor. So big breath in, abdomen distends, it floats up towards the sky. And you exhale and the abdomen falls. And we're just using this as an opportunity to start to lightly stretch and tone the diaphragm. Nice work. And then at the end of your next exhalation, you'll take a big breath in, reach your arms up and over your head. You might interlace the hands and turn the heels of the hands up. You might grab opposite wrists, but you're just going to stretch your side body a little side to side. And you'll just take a moment to notice what that feels like here. And your legs can be straight or they can be bent for this. And then when you feel complete, you'll go ahead and gently bend the knees, plant the feet on the floor. And then you'll hug the knees into the chest. And for today, you're just going to see if you can find a little bit of compression, having the knees into the chest. And then we're going to start to slowly rock forward and back. And you might find that your feet might want to touch the floor above your head in a halasana pose. And you're just going to take a few breaths to slowly get towards a halasana pose. And then once your feet are up and over your head, maybe touching the floor, you'll just pause there and breathe for a few cycles. You might hold your bum with your hands. You might not. But you're just going to take a few breath cycles here, noticing the pressure of the head against the floor, the upper arms against the floor, maybe the arms against the floor. And then as you're ready, you're going to gently come out of this. You'll roll back down onto your back. You'll take a moment to settle back into that Apanasana pose, wind relieving pose, and just see how the body feels here. And then we'll come again back to that rocking and rolling shape. And this time you're going to see if you can rock and roll forward and back enough to find yourself into a forward fold. And so just a seated forward fold for the first one. And you'll just take a few breath cycles there, breathing, maybe noticing what it feels like to touch the floor or touch your feet. Awesome. And then very gently, you're going to roll all the way back down onto your backs, coming back into that Apanasana wind relieving pose. Awesome. Now we're going to see if we can put those 2 things together. So you're going to rock between Halasana and Paschimottanasana, and you'll just see how that works for you, rocking up and down. And you might find that as you do this, you want to stay in one of those poses more than another. And if so, you do that. And you've got about 4 more breath cycles exploring this however you'd like. And then when you feel like you're complete, you'll roll up to a little squat at the top of your space. Little baby squat. Both knees bent, both feet planted on the floor, chest resting on the thighs. And you'll just let your head be super heavy when you find yourself in your forward fold squat. Head super heavy, breathing into the upper back, noticing what it feels like to let your thighs press into your chest and see if that widens the upper back. And then very gently, you'll start to straighten your legs, press the feet towards the floor, let your head drop towards the floor, and you'll come into a standing forward fold. Now, I would encourage you to separate your feet about hip distance apart once you're here. And then take a moment to really notice what it feels like to shift the weight in the feet, either front to back, right to left. And you're just trying to feel what it feels like to contact the feet with the floor and how that interdigitates or impacts the way that the pelvis is interacting with the legs, and then the legs are interacting with the low back, and then how all of that's interacting with the spine and the head. And some of you will continue to move a little bit. Some of you will come to stillness. Some of you might grab opposite elbow. Some of you might grab back of head. And you'll just take a few breath cycles to just breathe here in this forward fold and notice what this feels like, to just let the head be heavy, the spine be heavy, the strength of your legs to support you. Nice work. And then very gently, those are in movement, you'll come to stillness. Bring your hands to your block, lift your spine halfway, and take a moment to pause here. See if you can make your spine as parallel-ish to the floor as possible. So the heart drops down, the sit bones lift up, the crown comes forward. And then see if you can press into the feet and then blossom through those buttocks and reach your crown forward and the pubic bone back even more. Nice job. On your next exhale, bend both your knees and step just your right foot back for warrior one, but keep your hands on the floor or blocks. And now with your right foot back for warrior one, I want you to draw the outer left hip back, press into the outside edge of your back foot, your pinky toe of the right foot. And you're just taking a moment to pause and breathe here, noticing the stretch that's happening on that back outer right calf as you continue to bend into that front left knee. Nice job. On your next in-breath, pivot to the ball of your back foot. As you exhale, step to the top of your mat. Forward fold once again. Yep. And then from here, just notice what it feels like between the sides. Do you notice anything different in the hips, in the legs, in the breath? And then as we're ready, we'll inhale, halfway lift, hands on blocks. Exhale, bend your knees. This time, step your left foot back for a warrior one, keeping the hands on the block. And you want to see if you can make that as long as possible so you can find a nice stretch happening on the back left shin calf thing as you continue to bend into your front right knee. Press the left pinky toes down and just notice what it feels like to be here. Breathing into that back leg, front knees coming forward, back knees pushing back. Nice job. This time, as you inhale, you'll pivot to the ball of your back foot. As you exhale, plant your hands on the mat and step yourself back to a downward facing dog. Now, this is our first down dog of the day, so take a moment to just feel what it feels like. If you need to shift the hips a little bit from right to left, if you feel like you need to come forward a little bit into your arms to just lift up out of the armpits, notice that. But you'll just take a breath cycle here and experience what it feels like to be in the body, in the breath, in this moment. Nice job, guys. Next in-breath, let's come forward into plank pose, fallen Asana. Pause here, pressing down through the hands, lifting up through the inner thighs and lengthening back through the tailbone. On your next exhale, you'll shift your weight forward and slowly lower all the way down. Belly, chest, and thighs touch at the same rate. Yep. Extend the tops of the feet onto the floor. Lengthen back through the big toenails and pinky toenails, the tailbone. Draw the pubic bone up to the belly, and then you'll start to lightly press into your hands. Draw your shoulders up towards your ears and shoulder blades onto your back, and then pull your heart lightly forward and through for a baby cobra. And again, legs are active, ears are in line with the tops of your shoulders. And you'll be here for about 3 breath cycles. And notice where you want to adjust your head. Notice where you want to press down into your pinky toes even more and maybe squeeze the elbows towards each other. Awesome. At the end of your exhale, lower all the way down. Tuck your toes under. Scoop your low belly in and press through hands and knees. Straighten your legs long, plank pose. And then lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Great. And then just take 3 breaths here. And notice how it feels to really keep the front body lifting up and away from the floor as you lift the hip bones up towards the sky. On your next in-breath, raise to the tops of your feet. So come to the balls of the feet, and then exhale, bend your knees and walk to the top of your space. When you get back to the top of your space, separate your feet about hip distance apart. Inhale, halfway lift Ardha Uttanasana, hands on blocks or shins, wherever you want. And then you'll exhale and fold all the way in. Listen closely. Inhale, bend your knees, sit your butt low, swing your arms forward, Utkatasana, chair pose. Now press through the big toe mounds, spread wide through the pinky toe mounds, and see if you can sit a little lower. And then it might feel like you're arching your low back as you reach your pinky fingers forward and up, breathing across the collarbones and softening any tension around your shoulders and your neck. Nice job. Next in-breath, stand up, reach up, look up. And then you'll exhale and let the arms open out to the right and to the left. And just take a moment now to breathe again. Notice what's happening in your feet. Do you need to send the weight a little forward or back, right to left, paying attention to what's happening here? Awesome sauce. Let's go ahead and add on. Inhale, circle, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at your hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Nice job. Hands come back to blocks or shins. Inhale, halfway lift. And then as you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step your left leg back for warrior 1. Awesome. Now this time you're going to push down through your feet and bring your spine all the way up for Virabhadrasana 1. And I want you to take a moment to notice that now we can really focus. We've got the front knee. We can bend into that left knee a little bit more. We can right knee a little bit more. We can press onto the outside edge of that left foot. And then notice if we can allow the shoulder blades to square to the top of the space. Maybe that outer left hip comes forward as the inner left thigh goes back, yep. And then maybe the palms touch, or maybe the arms just reach up and overhead. It's totally up to you. Take one more breath here. On your next exhale, frame the front foot. Inhale, pivot to the ball of your back foot, and exhale, step to the top of your space. Nice job. Notice what you notice between the sides. And then inhale, halfway lift, hands to blocks or shins. As you exhale, bend your knees, step your right foot back for warrior 1. Take a moment to really find your feet first, and then inhale, bring the spine up for Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. And in this warrior 1, notice if you can let that right knee really lift up and away from the floor, the left knee, the front knee to come forward to bend the knee even more. Keep pressing into the pinky toe edge of that back foot. And then notice if you can spiral from the outer right foot up through the right thigh, through the right hip to square your shoulders to the top of your space. Yeah. Take one more breath here. Maybe palms touch, maybe they don't. On your next exhale, frame the front foot. Pivot to the ball of your back foot and step your front foot to meet your back foot, downward facing dog. Awesome. And then in this down dog, let's see if we can still pull those kneecaps up as you lift the hips up. Draw the low belly in. Take an inhale here. Take an exhale here. Next in-breath, come forward into plank pose. Pause, press the floor away, lift up through the, inner thighs, draw the low belly in. Next exhalation, shift the weight forward and lower all the way down. Extend the tops of the feet onto the floor. And as you're ready, you'll inhale and come forward into your cobra pose. And you've got about 3 breath cycles to make this happen. So you might keep lengthening the tailbone back to keep the low back long. You might squeeze the shoulder blades together on the back or notice what's happening in your head. Yep, and then when you're ready, you'll slowly lower all the way back down. Curl the toes under. Draw the shoulders up to the ears and shoulder blades onto the back. Scoop the low belly, press down into the hands and the knees and come up through a modified plank. Yep, straighten the legs into plank and then lift the hips up, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. And you're just starting to notice what the body's starting to feel like. We started with legs before we did anything else, and just observe how this is feeling in your body right now. Keep drawing the front ribs into the back body. Yep. Next, in breath, raise to the balls of your feet. As you exhale, bend the knees and walk to the top of your space. Fantastic. Once you get there, separate the feet hip distance apart. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Yep. Exhale, fold all the way back in. Inhale, bend your knees, sit your hips low, sweep the arms forward, Utkatasana. Yep. And then you'll continue. Imagine that you have a block between your inner shins, hug in, but then squeeze your outer glutes so that your knees walk out. Continue to arch the low back just a little bit so there's length there, but then draw the front ribs in and back. Yep. And then see if you can find length around your neck. Nice job. Next, in breath, see if you can sit a little lower. Yeah. Exhale, draw the belly in. Inhale, stand up, reach up, look up. And then exhale, arms open out. Samastitihi. Take a moment to just notice what you notice. Fantastic. Adding on. Inhale, circle, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at the hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Nice job. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step your right foot back, this time for warrior 2. So you want to make sure you've got a really long stance front to back and it's wide enough for you. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale and just come straight up with the torso for Virabhadrasana 2. And as we come up for warrior 2, let's take a moment to pause and notice what's happening in our legs and our feet. Notice if you can lengthen the spine, soften any unnecessary tension around your shoulders, and then really squeeze that left outer hip in so the tailbone can drop down and the left knee can open over the center of the left foot. Yeah, nice job, guys. On your next exhalation, go ahead and cartwheel the hands down to the floor. Pivot to the ball of your back foot. Step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Nice job. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step your left foot long and back for Virabhadrasana 2. And you just take the moment first to find the feet. And then when you feel that's established, you'll inhale and bring the torso up for Virabhadrasana 2. Nice. And then again, just as we did before, notice what adjustments you need to make in the legs and in the feet. Can you continue to bend deeply into that front knee? Yep. Hug the outer right hip under, and then, yep, press into the pinky toe edge of your back foot. And then notice what needs to happen in your spine so the tailbone can lengthen down towards the floor. Soften around the shoulders and extend out through both hands evenly. Nice job. As you're ready, you'll exhale and cartwheel the hands down to the floor. Pivot to the ball of your back foot and step back to a plank pose this time. Awesome. And then you'll just pause here for 3 breaths. Lift up through those inner armpits, squeeze the glutes just a smidge, and reach the crown forward and the tailbone back. On your next in-breath, you might just come forward through chaturanga and into an up dog, or you might lower all the way down into the floor and come up for a cobra. But you've got 3 breath cycles in whatever variation you've opted for. And then you'll make your way slowly back to your downward facing dog. And when you get there, you'll just take the opportunity to really just breathe and really just settle and see what it feels like to be here in this moment in time. Nice job. Next in-breath, raise to the balls of your feet. As you exhale, bend the knees, empty the belly, step or float, top of space. Nice job. From there, inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold all the way in. Same thing, inhale, bend the knees, sit the pelvis low, Utkatasana, chair pose. And in this chair pose, you might choose to continue to keep the arms reaching forward. You might reach the palms towards each other and see if they can touch. And then just notice how that changes what's happening in the shoulders and happening in the neck, and really try to find length along the torso. On your next in-breath, stand up, reach up, look up, maybe separate the arms. And then exhale, open the arms out to the side, Samasthiti. Take a moment to pause. Take a moment to breathe and just notice what you notice. Fantastic. All right, let's move on. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at your hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Listen very carefully. Please bring your hands to your blocks. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, keep your spine as it is. Shift the weight to your right foot. Float your left leg parallel to the floor. Flex through that foot a lot. Make sure the toes point straight down to the floor. Reach back through that left foot. Lift up through the inner right hip. On your next exhalation, bend the front knee. Put the back foot down for warrior 2. Great. Bring your front or bring both hands to the inside edge of your right foot. Bring your left hand to your left hip, and let's come into extended side angle. Continue to draw the outer right hip under and in towards your inner left thigh. Continue to bend into the right knee, and then you might start to reach your left arm alongside your ears, palm faces down. Yep, and then you just take a moment to pause. Can you draw the right ribs forward, the left ribs on top? Yep. Nice job. On your next in-breath, gaze to the floor. As you exhale, come to a low lunge, pivoting to the ball of your back foot. Inhale here. And then exhale, step to the top of your space, forward fold. Take a moment to notice what that feels like between the sides. And then we're going to try all that again. So bring your hands to your blocks. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, draw the low belly in, shift the weight to your left foot, and then inhale, sweep your right leg back for a variation of warrior 3. Now keep lifting through that inner right thigh, push back through the whole right foot, and then lift a smidge through that inner left thigh so you're not sinking into that left hip. Yeah. On your next exhale, bend your front knee, step your right foot back for warrior 2 legs. Bring both hands to the inside edge of your front foot. Bring your right hand to your right hip. From here, push down into the legs. Keep bending into the front knee. Roll your left ribs under, right ribs on top. And then you might reach your right hand up and over your head, so it's palm facing down. And then you've just got a few breath cycles here. You continue to push into both feet, especially the back pinky toe edge. You hug your outer left hip in, and you let your left ribs roll under, right ribs stack on top. Nice job. Take one more breath cycle here. All right, as you exhale, let's go ahead and inhale, turn and face the floor. Come to a low lunge, pivoting to the ball of your back foot. This time, step back, plank pose. Take a breath in here. Take a breath out here. Your option, you might come through chaturanga or you might lower all the way to the floor, but you've got 3 breath cycles and you're just going to see how much time you can take to just let yourself settle. We started with the legs, which is a really fun way to get the body really active pretty quickly. So you're just noticing what you notice once you get there. Long, steady breath. Awesome. Make your way to downward dog when you're ready. Awesome. And then from downward dog, we'll go ahead and inhale, take a big breath here. Exhale, bend the knees, empty the belly, step or float top of space. Nice job. Once you get there, separate the feet hip distance apart. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, fold all the way back in. Inhale, sit, Utkatasana, chair pose. And so we're going to, again, focus on the feet. So make sure you're pushing into the big toes, spreading wide through the pinky toes, allowing the knees to come directly forward as the hips sit low and back. Nice job. Next in-breath, stand up, reach up, look up. And then exhale, open the arms out and take a moment to pause and take a moment to breathe. Great. Nice job. All right. Okay, we're going to try this. Let's go ahead and inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. As you exhale, draw your hands to heart center and lift your right leg parallel to the floor, knee bent. Okay, hands at heart center, fantastic. Now I want you to flex through that right foot a lot, really pull the kneecap up, really pull the toes up. On your next exhale, I want you to reach your arms forward and kick your right leg back for warrior 3. Arms forward, right leg back, warrior 3. Yep. Arms forward, right leg back, warrior 3. Yep. Next exhale, unwind that. So come back up, hands to heart center, right knee back towards chest. Nice job, guys. Fantastic. Gently lower the right foot to the floor. Shake it out however you'd like to. And then you'll release your arms. And then we'll try all that again. So making sure you're balanced between the feet, hands alongside your hips. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, left knee towards your chest. Flex through the left foot, really draw the left knee up as much as parallel to the floor. And then when you're ready, you'll exhale and you'll kick the left foot back. You'll reach the arms forward. You'll bend the right knee as much as you need to find a warrior 3. Nice job, guys. Fantastic. And when you're ready to unwind, you'll come back up, hands to heart center, left knee towards your chest. Fantastic. All right. Go ahead and release the left foot down. Release your hands alongside your hips. Little momentary reprieve before we repeat everything else. So inhale, circle, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at your hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step yourself back to a downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale, come forward to hands and knees. If you need to, pad your knees at this point. And then you'll exhale and round the spine into cat. And inhale the spine into cow. And you're going to take about 5 of these. We're prepping for Agnisara. And so as you're doing this, I really want you to focus on squeezing the front body when you round into cat pose and squeezing the back body when you come into cow pose. So it might require that you move a little bit slower so you can squeeze the back body into cow. Yep. And then squeeze the front body as you come into cat. Yep. We've got a few more on your own. Nice job, guys. And after you take this next set, you'll go ahead and make your way back to downward facing dog and just take a few moments to breathe there and notice what that feels like. Nice work. Spread wide through the hands, pressing down through the index finger and thumb. Nice job, guys. Next, in breath, find length through the spine, maybe raise to the balls of your feet. And then exhale, bend the knees, empty the belly, step or float top of space. Nice work. All right, for this one, let's go ahead and inhale, halfway lift. And then stay here, walk your hands up onto your thighs, bend your knees a little bit more, and you might widen your feet out a little bit. So we're gonna now take the cats and cows for Agnisara. So you might widen your feet so they're a little wider than your hips. Your thumbs will probably be on the inside edges of your thighs. Your fingers will be on the outside edges of your thighs, and you'll lock your arms out as much as you can. And then you're gonna take those cats and cows here. So you're gonna inhale and the heart comes forward. Exhale, squeeze the low belly in, round through the spine. And you'll just take a few of these, inhaling and exhaling. And this is just the prep for Agnisara. If you do want to do Agnisara, what you would do is you would hold the breath out on exhale and then try to do Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha. That's basically just lifting your internal organs up on the exhale when you're in cat pose. But just doing the articulations through the spine is okay for today. Arms stay straight. Awesome sauce. After you take your next set, you'll go ahead and release. Very gently stand up. Allow your eyes to soften or close and just let that movement settle. Okay, and then let's see if we can add some things together now. Open your eyes, walk your feet together. And they don't have to be super close together, but probably just hip distance apart. And so what we're going to try to do is we tried to use that to gain our core. So you're going to inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead, reach your left foot forward. And it doesn't have to be high. It literally could just be 6 inches off the floor. As you exhale, you'll sweep your left foot back. You'll reach your arms forward and we'll come back into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. And notice if this feels a little different this time. On your next exhalation, both hands come down to the floor or blocks. Bend your front knee. Step your back foot down for Warrior 1 feet. Walk your blocks back so your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Yep. And then you'll take a moment to pause here. Draw your front outer right hip back. Press onto the pinky toe edge of your left foot and pull both kneecaps up. With the hands underneath your shoulders, reach your heart and spine forward. And some of you will stay right here, happy as a clam. Some of you will bring your right thumb to your right hip crease. Pull your right hip back, your outer left hip back, reach your heart and crown forward. And then you might start to scoop the belly on the right side, roll your right ribs on top of your left ribs and start to look towards your right. You might then reach your right arm up towards the sky for a revolved triangle, but you're really paying attention to the foundation and the feet and the legs first. And then finding the elongation through the spine and the rotation through the chest. Nice job. On your next exhale, gently lower the right hand to the floor. Pivot to the ball of your back foot. Bend your front knee and step to the top of your space. Once you find yourself in forward fold again, pause and just notice what you notice. That was the first time we added multiple poses together in this sequence today, and just notice what you feel in the body as a result. Great. Separate the feet hip distance apart. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold all the way in. And then inhale, bend the knees, sit the pelvis low, Utkatasana, chair pose. Nice job. And then you just got 3 breaths here. What small adjustments do you need to make so that you feel stable in the shape for you, strong in the shape for you? Nice job, guys. Next in breath, stand up, reach up, look up. And then exhale, allow the hands to soften out to the right and to the left, coming alongside the hips. Cool. We're going to try all that on the other side. So as you're ready, you'll inhale, sweep the arms out enough. Your left leg will float forward. As you exhale, you'll start to reach the left foot back and reach the heart, the hands, the chest, all of that forward to find one long line for Virabhadrasana 3. Fantastic. As you're ready, hands will come to the floor or the blocks underneath you. You'll bend your front knee, step your back foot back for warrior 1 legs, and walk the hands back so the hands are underneath the shoulders. Great. Pause here, just as we did in warrior 1. Press the pinky toe edge of the back foot down. You'll draw your outer right hip back as you press down into your right big toe mound, or rather front big toe mound. So for you guys, yeah, that is your right. Draw your right hand to your right hip. Sorry, left hand to your left hip, opposite hand. Yep. And then you'll draw your outer left hip back, reach your heart forward, and start to rotate your left ribs on top of your right. We are all doing different things. Cool. So if you did not do the opposite side, please do the opposite side. I might have told us different things. Yep, there we go. Great. And then very gently, you'll come out of your revolved triangle. Pivot to the ball of your back foot and step yourself back to plank. You might stay in plank. You might cycle through a cobra or up dog. You might just make your way to a down dog and then down to a child's pose. And then you just take a moment to pause and breathe in child's pose and just notice what that feels like. And then gently, we will come up to sit. Did we do both sides? It looks like we did not. We did not. Great. Let's go ahead and do both sides, or the other side twice then. Because I looked and it looks like we were doing the same side twice. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Because I looked and everybody's screen looked like everybody was doing something different. So I was just like, well, it does not look like we are doing the same thing. Jenny's going to tell me. Or not. She is. Okay. Oh, thanks, Jenny. Okay. So I did call the same side. Thank you, Jenny. So you guys did what I said to do versus what I intended to do. Cool. So we're going to do the left side twice then. Cool. Let's go back. So come back to downward facing dog. And then from downward facing dog, you'll make your way up to a forward fold, however you wish to get there. Nice job. From there, inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold in. Inhale, sit, chair pose, Utkatasana. Nice job. And then inhale, stand up, reach up, look up. And then exhale, open the arms out and to the side. So we are going to do the complete opposite. I believe we started with swinging the right leg forward. So this time you're going to shift the weight to your right foot, and swing your left leg forward. So is that correct, Jenny?
No, both times you had us start with our left. So we should be starting with our right, swinging forward.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. Fantastic. We're going to trust Jenny on that because I turned around. So my sense is off. So you'll inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. This time your right leg is coming forward. As you exhale, swing the leg back, reach both arms forward, and you're coming into your warrior three pose. And you'll just pause and notice what you notice. At the end of your next exhale, both hands come down to the floor underneath you on blocks or floor. Bend your front knee, step your back foot back for warrior one legs. Now walk both hands back so they're underneath your shoulders. Press the pinky toe edges of your right foot, your back foot down. Straighten your front leg, your left leg. You might bring your left thumb to your left hip crease, pull your left hip crease back, reach your heart forward. And then you might scoop the belly on the left side as you wrap the right ribs forward towards the inner left thigh or left shoulders on top of the right shoulders. And then you might reach that left arm up towards the sky for a revolved triangle pose. Nice, and you'll just pause and breathe. Keep pulling your left kneecap up on the front leg so the leg is engaged. Yep. As you're ready, you'll lower the left hand back to the floor, bend the front knee, pivot to the ball of your back foot, and then step to the top of your mat. Awesome. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, fold in. Last time, inhale, bend the knees, sit the pelvis low, chair pose. Next in-breath, stand up, reach up, look up. And then exhale, open the arms out to the right and to the left. Okay, we're going to try that one more time just to make sure we're balanced between the sides. So again, shifting the weight over to your right leg, left leg. Inhale, sweep your right leg forward, arms come up. And then exhale, you'll start to kick the foot back, reach the arms forward, bend the front knee, coming into that warrior three. Seeing if you can find more length through the front body, maybe by bending the front knee. Go ahead and lower the hands to the blocks. Bend the front knee even more, step the back foot back to the floor, walk the hands back so they're underneath the shoulders. Press the pinky toe edge of the back foot down. Draw your left hand to your left hip, thumb and thumb crease. Pull your spine parallel to the floor. Press into the front foot. Draw the outer left hip back, the outer right hip back, and rotate the ribs to the left. Maybe reach the left arm up towards the sky. And you'll just take a moment to pause and you'll take a moment to breathe. Nice job. As you're ready, gently lower the left hand to the floor. Bend the front knee, pivot to the ball of your back foot, and step yourself back to downward facing dog. Awesome. This time from down dog, I want you to go ahead and hop forward to a seat. Yep, fantastic. And then put your bum on the floor. Some of you might sit on your blanket, some of you might not. Have both legs long in front of you, and then cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Right thigh, left ankle over your right ankle. And then bend both knees so that you can sit for Sukhasana with your left shin bone in front. Fantastic. Remove any flesh that's underneath your sit bones. And then you're going to take your left hand. It's going to come in front of you. Your right hand is going to come out to the right. It might be slightly in front or it might be slightly behind your right hip, but you'll inhale and lift up. And then exhale, start to rotate towards the right. Pull your right low belly in and back. Your left hand might travel to the outside edge of your right knee. Your right hand might travel a little further behind your tailbone, but you're going to take 3 to 5 breaths here, really rooting down into your left hip. That's the hip behind you. Really drawing your right ribs in towards the midline, and then allowing your left ribs, left armpit to come forward towards that right knee, finding a nice rotation through the spine. Seeing if you can lengthen up through the crown as you continue to root down through the left hip. Nice job. And then as you're ready, you'll gently unwind. You'll come back through center. Just allow the hands to rest on the knees for a moment and see if you notice anything between the sides. And then when you're ready, hands come back behind you, legs go in front, uncross the ankles, and then we'll try that on the other side. So right ankle crosses over left ankle, bend both knees, and plant the feet roughly underneath your knees. Make sure there's no flesh underneath your sit bones if you need to. And then right hand will come in front between the legs. Left hand will come to the left, maybe in front or in line with the left hip. Inhale, push down through the hands and the sit bones to lift up through the spine. And then exhale, we'll start to rotate to the left, pulling the left low ribs back, the right low ribs forward. You might walk the right hand to the outside edge of the left knee. You might walk the left hand even further back behind your pelvis, but continue to root down into your right sit bone as you pull the left ribs in and back so that you can find a long neutral spine and rotate through the vertebra. And then notice if you can soften any tension around your shoulders. Yep, as you keep pulling the left low belly in. Great. Next in-breath, let's go ahead and come back through center. Let the hands rest on top of both of the thighs. Great. As you're ready, uncross the legs once again. So hands back behind you, legs in front. And then you're going to make your way slowly onto your backs. Please make sure your blocks are somewhere nearby. Blocks are somewhere nearby. Nice work. And then when you find yourself on your back, we started here, sort of. And so just notice if you notice any differences between the spine in this moment right now. Okay. Let's go ahead and bend both knees, plant our feet firmly on the floor. Feet are hip distance apart. Hands are alongside your hips. And take a moment to turn the palms to face the sky. When you're ready, I want you to spread wide through the feet. Push down into the feet, push down into the arms, push down into the head, lift your hips. Take a moment in this bridge pose to readjust or reassess. How are you pressing into the feet? Can you continue to lengthen your tailbone forward as you roll the inner thighs down to the floor? And then some of you might grab the outer edges of the mat and then tuck the shoulder blades together even more. Some of you might start to walk the hands towards each other and tuck the shoulder blades together even more. But then you'll pay attention to how you're interacting with the back of your head, the back of the upper arms, the backs and the soles of the feet. At the end of your next exhalation, if the hands are clasped, untuck the hands or unclasp the hands, untuck the shoulders, and bring your pelvis straight down. When the pelvis comes down, allow the feet to widen a little bit and the knees to knock in, and just take a moment to pause and breathe there. Great. Okay, we're going to try that one more time. This time you can add a block between your upper inner thighs if you'd like. You can also choose to take a supported bridge if you'd like. So you choose what works for you. Great. When you're ready, hands alongside the hips, start to press down through the feet, lift the hips, press down into the upper arms, press down into the back of the skull. Some of you might grab the outer edges of the mat and tuck the shoulder blades under. Some of you might grab opposite hands and tuck the shoulder blades under. Wherever you are, sternum is reaching towards your chin is drawing towards your sternum. The back center of the skull between the ears is pushing down. The upper arm bones, as much as possible, are externally rotating to push down. The shin bones are perpendicular to the floor. And then the weight is evenly distributed in the feet. And notice how that impacts the pelvis. Nice job. As you're ready, you'll gently unclasp the hands, untuck the shoulders, bring the pelvis back down to the floor. Widen the feet outside of the hips and let the knees fall into each other. And then just pause and breathe. Okay. Last few things. This last time, you'll go ahead and walk your feet towards each other once again. Your choice. You can either go back to halasana, where we started at the very beginning, and notice if anything's changed, or you can put a block underneath your pelvis and do legs up the wall. So you choose what works for you, but you'll just notice how it feels for you in this moment. Great. And those that are in halasana, gently come out of it. Those that are in legs up the wall, you'll start to bend your knees. Slowly plant your feet on the floor. Engage the backs of the legs before you lift your hips. Remove the block and bring the pelvis back down. And then go ahead and draw the soles of your feet together. Open your knees like a book, and you might use your blocks to support the outer edges of your thighs. It just allows a little bit more ease to come into the pelvis. And then if you're feeling any discomfort in your pelvis, notice if you need to adjust the pelvis first and then adjust where the support is coming from the blocks. Great. Now, as you're here in this shape, I'd like you to check in and see what you might feel like you need. Some of you might really enjoy a Supta Upta Vista Konasana. So you just lay down on your backs with a wide straddle of the legs. Some of you would enjoy doing a figure 4 on each side. Some of you might enjoy a simple leg thigh root or a supine twist. So you just notice what feels appropriate for you and what feels exciting for you, and you do that. And as you move into that shape, can you explore it with the same type of curiosity that you would if you didn't know what the shape was? So what small little changes might you make in this moment to find a different experience in this pose? And if you've done something asymmetrical, I do encourage you to come to some pose of symmetry before you look at the other side, just so you can notice what you notice happened between the sides as a result of doing that. And the symmetrical pose could be anything. It could be apanasana, it could be shavasana, it could go back to that supta baddha konasana, just something where both sides of the body are doing the same thing. And then you'll go ahead and try the other side and just notice what that feels like. And again, I encourage you to explore it with a sense of curiosity, like this is a new shape. What small little adjustments can you make? And then as you feel complete with that, you'll gently come out of this shape. And again, find a moment in symmetry, in stillness, and then just explore and experience what that feels like. And then when you feel like you've gotten enough of that, please find your way to some symmetrical pose. If there's anything else your body feels like it's needing before you come into your final resting pose, by all means do explore that. But again, you're just taking your time. You're just exploring what it feels like to be in this body of yours in this moment in time. And you've got about another minute or so exploring whatever you're exploring. And then as you feel complete, will very gently make your way to your final relaxation pose. And whether that's supine or seated, see if you can find a bit of comfort and ease. And as you find yourself in this final shape, per usual, take the opportunity to really settle the body. So notice if you feel evenly supported by the floor and the props on the right side and the left side of your body. And then if you don't, fidget around until you do. And for those of us that are supine, I want you to see if you can relax the back of your head into the floor. Notice if you can relax the back of the shoulder blades into the floor. Notice if you can relax the back of the rib cage into the floor. Notice if you can relax the back of the pelvis into the floor. Notice if you can relax the ankles into the floor. As you let these big, bony landmarks that are often or can be weight bearing, as you let them relax into the floor, and then you soften the spaces in between. So the back of the neck that's away from the floor, can it find more space and ease? The low back that potentially is away from the floor, can it find space and ease? The backs of the knees, can they find space and ease? And then as you continue to allow certain parts of the body to become heavier and more rooted, and you allow other parts of the body to find more space and ease, can you just notice the sensations that come about as a result? You'll continue to be here with yourself and your experience for a few more moments, a few more breaths, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Return your awareness to your breath. As you come back to your breath, just take a moment to really check in. To notice what you notice in this moment. If there's any part of you longing to linger in this shape, by all means, please hang out here. When you are ready, allow small movements to re-enter into your physical form in whatever way feels good to you. Very gently start to make your way to one of your sides. And then you'll pause there for a few breath cycles. Gently, you'll roll your chest more towards the floor, press into your top hand, and bring yourself to a tall, comfortable seat. And I do encourage you to elevate your bum on something, whether it's a block or a blanket. And then take a moment to settle in the spine where it feels like your ears are over your shoulders are over your hips. Separate the hands enough so that your heart stays open. And then we're going to complete with just a few rounds of Nadi Shodhana. So go ahead and take your left palm to face up. Tuck your index finger into the base of your thumb, and then turn your palm to face down. And then turn your right palm to face up. Tuck the index finger and middle finger towards the palm of your hand. Bring your right hand in front of you. Your right thumb comes to your right nostril. Your ring finger and pinky finger come to the outside of your left nostril. Take a big breath in through both nostrils. Exhale the breath out through the mouth. Close your right nostril and inhale just through your left. Top of your inhalation, close your left nostril and exhale out just through the right. When you need to, you'll draw the breath back in through your right. Top of your inhalation, close your right and exhale out through your left. When you need to, you'll draw the breath back in through the left. Top of the inhalation, close the nostril and exhale out through the right. When you need to, draw the breath in through the right. Top of the inhalation, close the right and exhale through the left. Go ahead and complete 4 more rounds on your own. Notice as you do this, if you can soften any tension around the left shoulder. Yeah. And then you continue to just listen to the breath, drawing it in at the rate it wishes to come in, allowing it to go at the rate it wishes to go. After you've exhaled 6 times through just the left nostril, you'll lower your right hand and just take a few moments to breathe. Now, as you breathe here, just observe and notice what you notice. How does the body feel? How does the breath feel? How do you feel? Our practice is here just to allow us the opportunity to get in touch with ourselves through both the physical sensations, the breath sensations, the mental and the emotional sensations. And it's only by taking the opportunity to connect with ourselves in this way are we able to most effectively go out and show up in the world in the way we wish to. So as you take these last 3 breath cycles here, I want to thank you for showing up to your mat today, showing up for your practice every day in whatever form it appears. We'll go ahead and complete our practice by drawing our hands to heart center Anjali Mudra. Press your palms into each other. Receive the weight of your thumbs into your chest and then lift your heart back to your hands. Soften your chin just a little bit towards your throat. Then exhale all the breath from your mouth. Take a big breath in. Audible breath out. Inhale for Om. Join if you'd like. Om. To that light, to that breath, that sound, and that practice. We bow. Namaste.